it would never go above 15, right? Right?
We're only asking for common sense economic policy here. $15 an hour. It'll never go up. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, it happened. So, when you got lawmakers asking $15 minimum wage an hour, then you get knucklehead here. Rashida Tlaib, minimum wage should be $20 an hour, not 15. This is from The Hill. This is it's a blog, so she called for a minimum wage of $18 to $20 an hour on Sunday, an increase over the $15 minimum a wage bill passed by the House on Thursday, which won't go anywhere, by the way. Tlaib spoke at an event in Detroit supporting One Fair Wage, an organization that lobbies for restaurant workers to be paid the federal minimum wage for non-tipped workers, according to local Fox affiliate. She criticized the federally mandated minimum wage for tipped employees, which is $2.13 per hour. Quote, "Think about that for a minute. People cannot live on these kinds of wages. We cannot allow people to live without tips and rely on the tip wages," Tlaib said. Unquote. Tlaib added that the $15 minimum wage should be adjusted. Of course it should. She also called out Un American Rising, a Republican political action committee that was at the event. "By the way," quote, "when we started it, it should have been $15 an hour. Now I think it should be $20 an hour. Make sure the American Rising hears that. It should be $20 an hour. At this point," Tlaib said. Unquote. American Rising tweeted footage of Tlaib's comment on Monday and noted the lawmaker was calling for a $20 minimum wage. Let's see if we can play that video here.
But $2.13 as a tipped employee pay $2.13 per hour federally. Some states, of course, here in Michigan, it's over $3.50 or so. But think about that for 1 minute. And people cannot live on those kinds of wages. And we can't allow people to be living off of tips, relying on tipped wages. It's just not, or whatever they call it, tipped income.
Oh, whatever they call it. It's like tips, income, wages. Oh, whatever. This lady's about as smart as a bag of boulders. I mean, good God. Tlaib added, the prices of everyday goods have already gone up for the Americans while addressing critics of a higher minimum wage who argue that such an action would drive up daily costs. Which they would, or people start going out of business or cutting workers. But, why let logic interfere with your stupid theory there, chucklehead? Quote, "They all say this is going to raise the cost, but I can tell you milk has gone up," Tlaib said. "Eggs have gone up. Everything has gone up. The cost of food has gone up. It's called inflation, you ding-dong, but, whatever. The cost of a lot of things we need has gone up already." Tlaib posted a photo from the event where she was serving food in addition to giving remarks. What? God, I wouldn't eat anything from this lady. You don't know what she put on it. Just saying. Finding value work as a family sometimes means walking in their shoes. Oh, for God's sake, shut up! "It was only for an hour, but it was hard work. House Democrats passed Fight for 15, One Fair Wage, and now the Senate needs to. Thank you, One Fair Wage, for inviting me. God dang. The House passed the federal minimum wage to $50 an hour on Thursday in a 239 to 199 vote. Okay. Whatever. I got two Fox News articles that kind of correlate this, but before that, I'm going to tell you a story real quick that I videotaped earlier today.
Quick story, though. I was in grad school, and it was either public or oral history. I can't remember which one it was. But had this one guy in the class. He was a Broward County sheriff. Let's put it that way. And we were in class, and somehow we got onto this is like before class. We got into the $15 minimum wage. And I was against it. I said, this was 2016, I want to say. So I said to him, I said, it's stupid. Why not $20 an hour. He goes, oh, I don't know. What about 30? Why don't I make it $100 an hour? And he says, well, you're being ridiculous. There's no way. $15 an hour is just a living wage. I'm like, well, where's it? Who's to say it was a stop at 15? Why not 20? Why not 30? Why not 100? Why not 1,000? And we sort of got into this argument about it, like, not terribly heated, but it was enough to like irritate him. That how dare I, suggest that it could get out of control. Dare I say, it would never go above 15, right? Right? Yeah, right.
Wasn't that fun? But anyways, that's just the kind of talk that's going in academia, if you will. Why not $100 an hour? That'd be steely. Whatever. Anyways, Tlaib calls for $20 an hour minimum wage. Quote, I cannot allow people to be living off tips. And got Dan Crenshaw there. Pretty cool. Call for 2020 or 2020 president to address the issue of upcoming debates. Federal minimum wage of $20 per hour at an event in Detroit. She talked about that. Think about it for 1 minute. People can live off these kind of wages. Got that. Here's another that video. Why not $20 an hour? Asked Town Hall editor and Fox News contributor Guy Benson, or $50 an hour. Go, Rashida, go. See? They should make it $1,000 an hour and cure income equality inside a month. Obviously, joked Ben Shapiro. These radical Democrat policy proposals are the political equivalent of the pitch for the Fire Festival. Yeah. Democratic presidential contenders are set to debate on July 30th and 31st and could be asked about Tlaib's now viral proposal. The party's embrace of one radical proposals, including Medicare for all, health care for illegal immigrants, and decriminalization of border crossings, has alienated moderates, some analysts contend. See, this is the interesting thing now. Since Trump made them the focus, the J Squad, if you will, the focus of all the, and so the Democrats had to rally around him. So now, just by default, the Democrats support a $20 an hour federal minimum wage. Just by default. Very good, President Trump. Very good. But her minimum wage proposal has her farther afield on the issue than virtually all over prominent Democrats. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office recently conducted that a $15 federal minimum wage could result in 3.7 million people becoming unemployed, far higher than the House Democrats' estimates as employers struggle to make payroll and respond by slashing jobs and hours. That's what Bernie Sanders did to his staff. His staff was getting paid $15 an hour, but working 60 hours a week. So what did Bernie Sanders do? After complaints, he cut their hours. Still kept $15 an hour, but cut their hours. It's only logic. It's basic economics. CBO considered uncertainty in calculating the impact of minimum wage from state to state and indicated that up to 17 million Americans could see pay increases. Okay. Republican leaders have said minimum wage hike would be devastating for middle-class families since CBO research funding raised concern prices and reduce the nation's output. Overall, the CBO said the move would reduce real family income by $9 billion in 2025, or 0.1%. This is what I was talking about earlier. The minimum wage fight has spilled over to the Democratic presidential race in recent days. Over the weekend, Bernie Sanders announced he would cut staffers' hours so that they can effectively be paid $15 an hour minimum wage, prompting mockery from critics who said the move is mere evidence that Sanders' plan to raise the national minimum wage is hypocritical and would only lead to less work and more employment. Alfredo Ortiz, president of the Job Creators Network, told Washington Free Beacon, quote, America can't afford $15 wage, never mind 20, unquote. The self-described socialist candidate said junior field organizer earned roughly $36,000 per year in salary, with employer-paid health care and sick leave, but he acknowledged that the salary can effectively dip below $15 per hour if staffers work more than 40 hours per week, which is common in presidential campaigns. The solution is to, quote, limit the number of hours staffers at work to 42 or 43 each week to ensure they're making the equivalent to, oh wow. You see the interesting thing there is that they have to drop the hours. You just can't say, well, I'm going to work overtime at $15 or $15 and a half or half hour. Usually in some fields of work, if you work overtime, you get paid time and a half, if you will. Jobs can't do that. If you're like a pizza business, you can't have someone work overtime. There's no way in hell. Can't. So businesses would only open for a couple hours during the day because you can't afford to pay the people that work there. Or you start cutting the staff and you work by yourself, which in turn doesn't really help out because let's say you run a pizza business and you get a lot of people and you can't afford a lot of workers, so you have to kind of manage this weird, all because the government or Democrats want to basically make points, make political points, and say we care about the people, but they don't really care, and they're not doing the math. So, and the last one, this is from Larry Kudlow, a very intelligent
Congresswoman Rashida.
No, we're not going to hear you. He works for President Trump, obviously. Smart economics guy. Kudlow and Rashida Tlaib's $20 an hour minimum wage proposal. Millions of small business jobs will be lost. Absolutely. I don't have to rehash all that because. Okay, yeah, we already talked about that. The Democratic control has passed $15 recently. Kudlow basically said, yes, quote, some wages go up for some set number of millions of workers, but we also lose millions of jobs because a lot of these small businesses can't afford it, unquote. He said, quote, the remedy for minimum wage is to keep the across-the-board economic boom going. Quote, we have unlimited minimum wage through private sector prosperity, unquote. Right. And he also said about going beyond, so you get $20. The prices for goods and services go up once the minimum wage goes up. So if everyone's getting, say, $20 an hour, bread, milk, etc., goes up because the price and the amount of money that costs to ship, manufacture all that gets factored into the price. So if everyone gets $20 an hour, the price goes up on everything. Oh, you don't think so, huh? I know what you're thinking. There's no way that'll happen. And it'll happen that way. Don't take my word for it. Please investigate yourself and look for it. But another video coming up soon after this. It'll be interesting to see what I come up with. But that's what you expect from Lazo the Instigator. Am I right?